Hey everybody, it's Dr. Nic and Mike Sebastian, the dream team.
Hey guys, how you doing?
With Divine Guidance Institute, Modern Day Mystery School. Yes, teaching you the ancient way of knowing so you never get blindsided again. Hey, today we're talking all about sports. We got 4 blindsided stories for you in the sports world. Just to give you another example of how it's prevalent and pervasive. And you need these tools so you don't get blindsided.
Yeah, and the tools are dream, signs, and intuition. And that is how you sidestep adversity so you don't get blindsided.
Foolproof knowingness with sound, dreams, signs, and intuition. Yes, that is what the ancient way of knowing is. We also call it the trust yourself system. Indeed, it's ancient. They used to use dreams and signs back in the day. The Egyptians, the Greeks, to lead the kings, the pharaohs, and generals relied on the system as a way of knowing to lead their nations, guide their people. It's laced throughout the ancient texts, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, a common form of divine guidance. And so, we're here to bring that system back into the 20. What, you ain't got another?
No, go. What's the stories
Don't
today?
worry, because I can cut.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. Hey, we got 4 great stories for you today. They're not too detrimental, nonetheless. We got Bryce Young, Sam Day, Marcus Smart, and Carl Anthony Towns. All 4 were blindsided recently in the sports world. Yeah, let's give you the stories. Bryce Young, blindsided. The Panthers benching in favor of Andy Dalton. Yes, he said, and I quote, about being blindsided. No idea it was coming. Next, we got Carl Anthony Towns, completely blindsided by the trade. The Knicks for the Timberwolves. Yes, another blindside. Let's go to Sam Day of New Brisbane Lions recruit, blindsided by the Suns axing. He was cut from the Gold Coast Suns and was certainly blindsided. Lastly, we've got Marcus Smart. The move from the Celtics, he wished they would have let him know. This is a quote. Wish they would have let me know. That way I wasn't blindsided. I could have prepared for it. Exactly. That's the biggest thing, blindsided. People are blindsided every single day, big and little, with job, career, love, relationships, finances, health. That's why the system, that's why we developed the system and founded the nonprofit, because it's such a big deal. It's all pervasive and it can be avoided. That's the thing. That internal system, dreams, signs, intuition, and sound, it's on autopilot 24/7. It's your personal GPS.
And it leads us down the way. And who hasn't been blindsided? And I guarantee tomorrow you will be blindsided. Tomorrow I will be blindsided. We all are, every single day. You can call them curveballs. In other words, wow, I wish I would have known that was coming. Well, we do know it's coming, and we get warned ahead of time. We have a gut feeling. It's not a thought. It's not a thought coming in. It's not analyzing the data. It's a feeling that comes in that says, be careful, beware. And that lets us know what's coming so we can sidestep it or at least be prepared for it. And it's a foolproof system, and it's on, like Nick says, autopilot 24/7. And we even have a way of turning the volume up so we can hear it better. And you want to give them a demo of the technique?
One magic word?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Most of you who've listened to the podcast are familiar with us. You know about one magic word, but those of you that are just tuning in, here we go. One magic word is the hue, H-U, hue. I'll give you a demo. You inhale and exhale. You say again, inhale. The cool thing, you can do it out loud or silent, eyes open or closed. You can do it while you're doing the dishes, in the shower, or at a business meeting. No one will know. And it's vibrational sound therapy is what it is. So you can use it for anger and insomnia, stress, anxiety, but for this focus, for this topic, Blindsided, it turns up the volume on your intuition, on your gut feelings. It turns up the volume on your dream recall. And it turns up the volume on your overall awareness so you recognize a coincidence or a sign coming in during the day.
And that occurs all the time. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been driving down the road wondering about something, and I actually see a billboard that mentions the very thing I was wondering about, and I turn the radio on, and the DJ's saying the same thing I'm wondering about, using the same word, the same thought, and it's like, whoa, what a synchronicity. Yeah, it's all connected. And as we hew, the good news is a lot of people say, well, I just don't notice those things. Well, if you simply hew, it's the key. It turns the ignition on our internal guidance system. So our dream signs and intuition, suddenly the volume goes up on them and we become aware of them. And that way we sidestep adversity so we don't get blindsided every single day.
So I want to back up a bit, the blindsided. Are you going to have a gut feeling about getting blindsided? Maybe. Chances are not, because it happens out of the blue and it happens suddenly. Here's the thing, what we have tracked in our data. Blindsided, the avoidance of getting blindsided occurs mainly from the dream state. You'll have a dream showing you an outcome. So tracking your dreams, once again, is vital to this process. Michael mentioned signs. Absolutely. You got to watch the signs by hewing. It'll turn up the awareness, turn up the volume. And I'm going to give you a quick example. Years ago, I just took a new job somewhere, clinical director, treatment center, and I was driving down the street, and the name of the treatment center, where I'm going to give it a different name. Let's call it Smith Treatment Center. Okay. There was a business, and the sign for the business was the name of the treatment center, Smith, and the sign was on the ground, leaning up against the building. As I drove down the street, I saw the sign, the name of the treatment center, the sign was on the ground. I knew as I drove by, this was going to be a short-term position at Smith Treatment Center. And sure enough, it actually lasted, it lasted through 4 months. 4 months and it was over. It was over before it started. Yeah. So, but the sign occurred. So I knew ahead of time. So when the 4 months came and went, when it happened that we were parting ways, I smiled inwardly. I was not blindsided. I was actually prepared. And the cool thing was that the sign, the message, it was all on the money. And that was the coolest thing ever. It was way cooler than the event itself happening. It was, wow, yeah, on the money. Absolutely. And I'll give you another story here and I'll turn it back to Mike, but another job situation. And the sports guys, the 4 that we just mentioned, those are all career oriented, in the sports arena, in the sports world. So here we go. Another treatment center. And I'm a director and I've got a caseload as well. And I take on a new client and I'm doing his intake paperwork on the computer. And I put in the intake date, and the computer leaves the end date open because we don't know how long they're going to be with us, the clients. Well, in this particular case, the software kept entering an end date for the client. And it was 1 month from now. It was 1 month from his start date was his end date. And I noticed this. And I'm going to talk about noticing this in a minute, why it's key. I noticed the end date was populated where it shouldn't have been, and it was 1 month away. So I knew intuitively that the job was going to end in about a month. And certainly it did. It ended 1 month later. And again, I wasn't blindsided. You sidestep adversity. You had a glimpse. And so it was kind of like, okay, cool. It wasn't as bad as it could have been had I not known. So let's go back to recognizing the sign. Remember I mentioned the software, and it's something that was so bizarre that I noticed it. Okay, a sign, it's not as if my shoe's untied. What is the message? No, it's real simple. If it stands out to you, for you, as a coincidence, there's a message. Or if it's something so incredibly bizarre, catches your attention, that's how you know there's a message for you. So there's two things, a coincidence or it's something so bizarre, there's a message within. Michael?
And a good way to, a lot of people say, how does all this occur? And it's really because I was reading some quantum physics just yesterday, actually, and it said reality is a holographic consciousness. Well, as you well know, when you look at a hologram, everything is part of everything else. If you cut a little tiny slice off of the hologram, so tiny you can't even see it, but you shine laser light on it, and it'll show you the whole picture, the hologram itself, the whole complete picture. In other words, quantum physics proven that within the grain of sand is the whole universe. If you could actually see it, this grain of sand contains the whole. And that's how the dream science and intuition works. Everything's connected. Everything is a hologram. Everything is connected. And it's all in the present moment. And consequently, when we raise our awareness with a vibrational toning technique, like suddenly our awareness expands and we start seeing and understanding what's coming our way, because the future is part of the moment and it's all one, it's all connected. So that's really mechanically how it works. And we all have that internal guidance system within ourselves. It's just that we don't know it and we don't pay attention to it.
Hey, good stuff, good stuff. All right, guys. We just wanted to give you a little tidbit. Even the sports world, sports figures getting blindsided left and right. It's imperative that we get this message out there. It truly is. The big and the little in all arenas. So it doesn't have to be that way, Anyway, we're signing off for now. If you want to get a hold of us, please hit us up, divineguidanceinstitute.org, or you can do it yourself with our books. You can donate to the nonprofit, and it's a tax write-off, so it's good for you too. Plus, it gets the message out there at a broader level, which is so imperative. And, you can email us through the website, and we've got a cool course coming out soon. One magic word, vibrational sound therapy. That'll probably be ready in what you say about a month, Michael?
Yeah, probably less than a month, but pretty soon coming out, and you'll really love it. It's like nothing that's out there right now. It is unique, and it'll give you that cutting edge that allows you to sidestep adversity and never get blindsided again. What more could you want?
All righty. Hey, signing off. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.